Hello and welcome to Search for Signs. My name is Gary Willing. If this information interests you, please make sure you press the like and subscribe button and press the bell for notifications. This next story I'm going to tell you about happened around latter part of 2009 in and around Fulton County Airport. Fulton County Airport is a smaller private airport on the west side of Atlanta. Coca-Cola has their plane there. Home Depot has their planes there. I'm sure there's a lot of rich people that have their planes there. But for a number of years, I cleaned this small little building with a hangar that the Department of Transportation had their planes, the Department of Natural Resources. Even the governor had a small fleet of jets that he could use that were at his disposal when he wanted to fly to different parts of the country or the state or something. They actually filmed, little side note, they filmed a few scenes for the movie Flight, not my favorite Denzel Washington movie, but here's a picture of the hangar that I used to have to go back and clean the office in, but for a time they filmed it there. The building itself was a 3-story building, mainly vacant. The top part of the building was the part that had the most activity in it. But as you can see here, it was very secure. They had a secure gate. They had a fence because it was right on the runway. There was a security officer there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in the lobby. I mean, it wasn't military grade security, but it was secure to keep, people that weren't supposed to be there out. Here's a picture of it right on the runway there. So anyway, this story starts, I'd cleaned it for about 5 years, and around 2009, I met my wife, who was from the Philippines. I went to the Philippines to meet her in September. And I was working this job, and I was also working 2 other jobs. I picked up a waiting tables job to make some extra money to get them here. So I would get up about 5 o'clock in the morning. I would go wait tables at this one hotel till the afternoon, and then I would turn around and go to wait tables at this other job till about 11 or 12 o'clock at night, sometimes 1 o'clock, depends upon how busy we were. And then I would have to go clean this building 5 days a week. And it would usually take me about an hour-ish, hour and a half sometimes. And normally it was fine. I was making enough money to kind of save some money for them to come here. But in December of 2009, I was getting kind of stressed about it. And I was kind of at the end of my rope with this whole thing. And I remember driving to the building one night, and I was tired. I had worked, I was after my second job, going to my third job. And I was thinking this to myself, and I remember directing it to Maitreya. I kind of had a picture in my mind of Maitreya. And I said, if I could just get a little help, just a little. I don't know what, but I just need somebody to help me out. It would make all the difference. And this building typically was fine in terms of the trash, but for the couple months that I was working all these extra hours, the office to the left on the very top floor started getting all this trash, and I would have to do 2 or 3 loads of trash. Sometimes I'd have to go all the way back down, dump it in the dumpster, go all the way back up, do the same thing. And it was just kind of getting on my nerves, and to a point where I was just like, if I could just get somebody to get the trash out of that side of the building, like I said, it would make all the difference. And I didn't think much of it after that. Of course, I had to go and clean the trash. And of course, that night there was a lot of trash up there. So I didn't, had to deal with that. And it was a day or two later. It wasn't too long. I don't even know if it was a week. I noticed that everything was normal and cleaning the building, except for when I went to that left part of the top floor of the building that usually had all that trash. There was no trash there. And I thought to myself, I was like, well, maybe they were off that day or they weren't in the office. And then the next day was the same thing. I was like, that's weird. I've never seen them. It's not a holiday. And then the next day was the same thing. It was that normal, except for there was no trash. And it took all this tension away from me. And I was like, okay, fine. Maybe it's, I can go home and get an extra, 10 minutes of sleep or something. And I can't remember how many days it lasted. It might have been like 5 days. And then it went back to normal. And this was maybe early December 2009. And then in January of 2010, I was cleaning the building and I was upstairs. And the lady that ran that side of the building that had all the trash, her name was Carol. She was coming out of the office that was usually locked, and she needed to use the restroom. And she looked at me and she goes, Gary, can you make sure you don't lock the door for me? I said, sure, no problem. And she said, I don't have a key and I just need to use the restroom and go right back. And I said, sure. And then she looked at me and she said, and make sure you tell your assistant not to lock the door. And I went, Carol, what are you talking about? I don't have an assistant. And she goes, yeah, the guy that helps you out from time to time. And I went, I don't have anybody helping me out. I do this by myself. And at this point, her face dropped and her face turned white. And she was like, Gary, there's somebody that comes and helps you out from time to time. And I said, are you talking about when I was in the Philippines in September? And she goes, no, I remember that. She goes, that was LaQuanda that helped you out. She goes, no, this was recently. This was in December. There was a tall black fella that came and got the trash out of there. And I asked her to describe, a little bit about it. And she said, Gary, I know there's somebody here. I mean, this guy he was about 6'2", 6'3", but very quiet, very polite. Just walked around and got the trash and said thank you and left. And I said, how many days was he here? And she said, well, it was about 4 or 5 days, something like that. And, she said he just got the trash and that was all he did. And so it was kind of fun. It was kind of funny. It made me laugh a little bit because I had a feeling that it might have been Maitreya. And I asked Benjamin Creme about if this was Maitreya, and he said, yes, it was. And I said something about him helping me clean the building. And he goes, no, he never helped you clean the building. He just got the trash out of that side of the building. Well, anyway, thank you for letting me share this story with you. And I look forward to talking to you in the next video. Have a great day.